Have you ever heard that phrase, life sucks because you suck? It's not really fun to think about things that way. It can make us feel, ashamed or guilty or resentful of whoever is saying that towards us. And we might want to get back at them. But the reason I mention it is because it kind of illustrates the way in which there's a link between a crappy situation and a crappy management style. And that relates to what I'm doing here with Life Ready as and life management coaching and peer support. So as a life management coach, one of the things that I try to help people to understand is that there's three basic kinds of situations that you can find yourself in. One that I call Crappyville, one that I call Languishingville or Lacklusterville, and then the third one is what I call Awesome Town. So Awesome Town, Lacklusterville, and Crappyville. Or you might have heard people say Shitsville. So there's three management styles that go with that. When you end up in a Crappyville, a lot of times it's because you or whoever's in charge of that situation or the group in charge are managing in a way that I describe as intentional or empowered problem creators. You're doing things that create problems for yourself or others, and you're doing it on purpose, right? In some way. Like you might say, F them, I don't care what they think, who needs them, it doesn't matter how it affects them, I'm just doing what I want now. But what you're failing to remember in that moment is how it's going to affect people down the road and how that's going to come back and affect you through what I call social karma, right? Disregarding any spiritual karma that might also be taking place in the situation. The second kind of situation I mentioned is Lacklusterville. That's when somebody is what I call a disempowered or unintentional problem creator. And that's usually the people who are acting like an enabler in that alcoholic family systems model, if you're familiar with that. Whereas people in Crappyville might be playing more of that domineering role or the perpetrating role or the exploiter role, the soul crushing role, trying to lord power over others, what I call the overlord, the wannabe overlord. They end up in Crappyville. The enabler types end up in Lacklusterville. And if you want to get to Awesome Town, you got to stop doing both of those things and start having a balanced caregiving style. Care about yourself, yes, and care about others, yes, and do it at the same time so that the effect of your action is balanced now and later. That's what I call the empowered problem solver, or the facilitator, or the hero, or the guardian of the good life. Hope that helps.